Good morning guys. So Casper here with an update on, broad commodities. We're gonna look into that a little bit, silver, gold, platinum, sugar even. What else? Maybe oil we're gonna do. So we're gonna go through our, what I call the daily commodity update, which is not done daily, but that's the name of it. And yeah, as always, follow me on Substack, on Twitter, but Substack is definitely the place where I do the more detailed stuff with regarding to stock picking, trying to navigate when to take profit, entries, exits, theses, and where we keep track of the path and are we still bullish, are we not bullish, all that good stuff. So check it out, it's all here. You can see the videos that we put out every single day. Roughly every single day, roughly. Good. Let's have a look here. Daily commodities update, silver. It had a pretty interesting Friday, didn't it? And one thing I want to show before we go into the price action, I want to show you again the 5-year momentum structure on the daily time frame. 5 years. So this is the 200 daily momentum that we measure, and what we have here is a 5-year wedge. You know this, we love these, right? If this was a price chart, we were saying holy shit, this is actually quite good. This is actually a breakout of a 5-year wedge. In this case, it is the silver price. I'm saying it slowly. It's the silver price breaking out against the 200 day. That is happening while the 200 daily moving average is in a pretty steep uptrend, right? It's trending heavily to the upside. So we're breaking out, we're back testing and almost clearing the breakout high. This looks really good. Of course, we get the confirmation once we take out the breakout high. Of course, if we are wrong and we get below those levels here and get back into the wedge, it could be a false breakout. However, until that happens, this is looking pretty darn interesting. It looks really, really interesting. So we are now going to look at the price itself. Again, this is the 10-year view, 5-year view. So remember, price has basically just broken out against the 200 daily moving average, and we're here, right? So if this breakout is true in the momentum, we're going to have a period where we can actually add the 200 day. Let's do that here. So you can see here the yellow is the 200 daily moving average. And basically since the March lows, almost, right, we had a bit of a down period here, but for at least 3 years, this has turned up, 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 up. And we are trying to break away from that movement, meaning we have to outperform that movement heavily. So price for silver right now is immensely bullish. And we have been bullish, as you know, since April 2024, when we, for the first time, broke 26, right? There were multiple reasons to that, which we, have covered many times, right? That one there, boom, 26, up, 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 and away. And now we have also been breaking this upsloping channel here, bullish, uptrend, uptrend, more uptrend, and now we're breaking that to the upside. Meanwhile, we break out from the 200 daily moving average. Very, very interesting. I don't think there's, again, I've been saying that north of like 40, 42, there is not a whole lot of volume, traded volume. So most likely there won't be many sellers here, and we could go to 50 rather quickly. And this price action here, to me, looks like the price action, if we go to gold, somewhere around here, where we just swooped down and then boom, we blasted away and did 20-30%. Then we paused, which is fine. So I think we could see this for silver, where we consolidate for some time and then we go higher as well. And gold, I don't think we need to talk about gold that much, really. Again, 2024, boom, $2,000 roughly, a bit more broken, breakout, up, up, up. We had a half a year worth of sideways action here, a bit of a wedge, and breaking out, going higher, measured move. The lowest of the measured moves you can see is actually here, which we have reached. But you can also do, further, momentums, and actually 4,150 is the 100% measured move from the 2075, which we broke out 18 months ago. So we still have more to come for gold. Long term, go to the weekly. It is not an environment where you go short, but it's an environment where you buy on consolidation, breakouts, and or dips. That's when you buy. You don't short a massive macro uptrend. You just don't. You're gonna get smoked. There will most likely be a time where that can happen, but not now. So gold, yeah, I wouldn't say boring because it's not, but again, it's doing what we expect to see after the breakout there, like almost 2 years ago. Good old Platty, remember, 1,050, boom. That was our entry into platinum, into miners, into a whole lot of good stuff. That is a difficult sector to be a part of. But platinum itself, the metal, looks, again, that was, again, it's not a once in a lifetime because nothing is, but that is this is a 20-year breakout in platinum. We have so much more room to go. Daily, however, but look at that breakout backtest. Oof. Daily, we are digesting the first big move, right? Multiple things can happen here, and either one of them is a buy, depending on how we get it. Everything that you get here from now on is a buying opportunity. Again, this could be, we could get a move down here, right? And then we do some sort of flag. We could go sideways here in like a wedge. Again, I just made this one up here just to show that this is consolidation, one way or the other. It could be sideways, it could be like a leg down, and then we go higher. It could be a whole lot of options that will be a buying opportunity. The worst case, which I don't think will happen after 20 years of breakout, is again if we backtest roughly 1,050. I don't think so. Could it happen? Yeah, sure, but again, we have backtested once, but we shall see. But whatever happens here for platinum, when it breaks out and confirms, that's where you can add to your platinum stack or the PPLT ETFs. Palladium, same kind of thing here, immensely bullish. Not as bullish as platinum, but again, we've called the bottom here, and this little flag that we're getting at the end here is a part of the cup and handle. So whatever happens here, boom, will be a big buying opportunity again. Again, we called it here, roughly 1,050 as well, and now we're consolidating, most likely flagging before going higher. And my target remains initially here, roughly 1,600-ish. But ultimately, we could actually go way higher. We could go way higher in palladium over the next 2-3 years. Gold and silver ratio, interesting. Again, Friday was interesting. That thing there is actually very interesting because, again, the deal. We are trading below 90 to 92, meaning we are in a bearish mindset. We have this wedge here. We had a false breakout for now. One again. If we start to trade below the wedge, silver, again, looking at silver, which we just looked at, again, that is looking very bullish. And if this one starts to collapse, it confirms that silver is to outperform gold in an environment where gold will do extremely well also. And this is so much fuel to the fire in a good way for the miners. You know this. The key to the mining sector is the gold and silver ratio, or the silver to gold ratio, and again, which way you want to look at it. But yeah, we are seeing the gold miners breaking out against basically everything. The GDX is broken out against Nasdaq, Bitcoin, the SP 500, what have you. I could go on and on and on. So miners are looking so beautiful, and it's a very, very, very small sector. It's just beginning. It's just beginning for a multi-year run in these miners. Remember, there will be pullback that will knock your socks off in a bad way. They will be pretty hefty, but also buying opportunities. Dixie here, getting a little bit of a revamp here after, again, we are cutting rates again with what was expected 0.25, and we're getting a little bit of a bump here. Zooming out though, look at this 10-year. If this one starts to confirm, breaking down, and you can see the 200 weekly, I think it's a good marker. If we ever start to trade south of that, by the way, that is bearish as hell. If we start to trade south of the 200 weekly, which is roughly 96 here, we are breaking down from the long-term trend, but also the moving average trend, but also the 20-year bear flag. You can call it whatever you want. The uptrend channel. Boom. Right. Interesting times for the Dixie. Bitcoin here. Let's have a look on Bitcoin. Bear flagging here a little bit. It needs to regain this. Again, it's Sunday here, so again, typically you start to see moves as we head into the futures open, but it needs to clear this and get back, up here. Otherwise, we could see some downward movement here. Overall, we're in a, again, if this one ever goes, hold on to your hats and socks. It's going to be iffy to the downside. And this one here, if it can break that to the upside, we could have a huge blow-off top move in the Bitcoin. But right now, as you can see here, expanding volatility for basically since July. These, they are difficult. But let's see what it does. In order to remain a bullish megaphone, again, it needs to touch here and then do that. It needs to reach the upper end. Other, it means that the bulls are not in control. But this one here would be extremely and utterly bad for Bitcoin. And no, it is purely my take. If Bitcoin breaks down here, you will not have that all-con rally that everyone is talking about. It simply cannot happen. Again, I haven't seen it before, so why should it happen this time around? So Bitcoin needs to hold its ground and or break out to the upside. Bitcoin being stable for like 2 months, within 10%, at that point you can have your rally, but you cannot have that rally if you break down and start to really get hit in the face. This one I need to update a little bit. It's not as beautiful as I would like it to. Oil, there is nothing, again, right now, long term, I expect, and there are some oil stocks that looks really good and has been breaking out. But this one here, it is my full expectation that at some point, one way or the other, we're going to break out. The level right now to break out is roughly 70, maybe a tad higher, 73, 74. I think the only way is do we get that little third leg, boom, and then we go. That is my only concern short term. But long term, it is actually, pretty interesting. And for some reason, that one is not aligning up perfectly. Let's do that. So, massive breakout over here, and now we're in a wedge here. Typically, they break to the upside, and actually, platinum and oil is heavily correlated to each other, heavily. Rates, the deal. The thing with low rates is over. You will not see that anymore. The adjustable rates, if you have those, I would be extremely worried. We had 20 years where the flexible was by far the best option, and you saved so much in interest rates. That is over. Again, we will have higher highs and higher lows, whereas here it is lower highs and lower lows all the way down until 2020, where the bond market had its blow off top, and ever since then you can see we're actually doing a lot of fancy stuff here. Right, look at that head and shoulder again breaking out, flagging now. So rates looks extremely bullish to the upside. So long term, you can bet your bibbies that we're gonna have higher rates. It just depends on the path, really. Again, this could be some sort of higher high here. The first higher high in 40 years, scary. We could, depending on, you know, what's gonna happen, if we start to break down from here, we could see that higher low. And then again, you're gonna go, right, we could see that higher low here, only to resume. So if you're lucky enough to get, this is the 10-year, you know, the 10-year down to roughly 2.3, 2.5, depending on how low it goes, that would be lucky. And if you can get some sort of a fixed rate at that point in time, that is, in my view, the last big buying opportunity, if you can call it that in rates, for like a mortgage or whatever. So there will maybe be one more down here. But by the looks of it now, it looks way more bullish than actually bearish. But we shall see what happens. We have a little bit of an internal wedge here with a false breakdown, it seems like. So yeah, interesting. The SPY here, I don't have much on it, to be honest. I only have something on the daily here. All-time highs, broadening structures, they can rally heavily, but they are also very deadly. They can be very deadly because you have the expanding volatility, meaning the market doesn't really know what it wants. Are we bullish? Are we bearish? I have no idea. But let's see. For now, yeah. But here we have the QQQ, which actually looks, again, we don't have broadening structures per se. We are definitely in an uptrend here. And as long as we are within that, it's all fine and dandy. This here was a false breakdown from multiple, you know, a wedge, and also the uptrend. This also had vibes of head and shoulders, so a big false breakdown here, and it's leading to a huge rally in the other direction. You know this stuff. When you have a false breakdown, you typically run the other end of the structure. So copper, nothing has happened after what I think is massive market manipulation here. I think there were a lot of shorts somehow got a ticket out here, right? But for now we're still some sort of bear flagging here. Let's see what happens. Do I think we're going to go higher? Absolutely. But again, we have to wait and see, of course. But long term, I think copper is in a good state. But obviously, this was a big call for us. We, again, heavy long here, and then some funky stuff happened there. That is funky, right? Down 20%. And if my memory serves me well, that happened in 4 minutes. 4 minutes, copper dropped 20%. That is not normal. Something, someone, somewhere did something here in order to help somebody. Oh, interesting here. We have coal. Remember the breakout here for coal from our big blue wedge? And you can see here we tried to rally, but we couldn't quite get going. But now we did a backtest again, trying to confirm it. That is interesting, right? So let's see what happens. But it's very clear now. We said anything north of 116 was bullish. We just peaked above and then we puked. But it is clear now that high there, if we ever close above that, right, then it seems like game on for some reason, right? So coal here is really trying to find its footing. And also I find it amusing or extremely interesting here that this backtest here, look how far it goes back, that trend line. It goes back 15 years and it's finding that level again, or that trend line to bounce on. But again, let's see. It is interesting here for copper. It's really trying to get going, but we still have a lot of, you can see here, we basically haven't had any green momentum ever since we broke down from here. We basically have been in the red all the time. So it's trying to flip green, which can take some time. Right now, gas is actually doing what we expected to do, meaning it's following technicals. We called it here. We were breaking down. We said we're going to go to the blue or the yellow in the worst case. Bounced, breaking out, little back test, going sideways now. So let's see. I will not be bullish on, at least as of as of now, until we break this blue wedge. So for me, on gas, there's not a whole lot of thing going on here. But if we can break the golden and the blue here, getting back above there, then for sure it opens up a lot of upside for gas. A lot of upside for gas. But for now, we're not quite there. The TTF, which is the Europe one, a bit different, right? We have a huge downtrend here, a big parallel. And then we have this internal bad boy here. If we can start to break out here, it's, as you can see, it's trying. It really is trying, but I don't think it's going to succeed. Again, what I think doesn't really matter, but you can see this wedge here. It's really trying, and we need to break out from that. Then I'm actually in a more bullish state. However, we could be breaking down here also. So this is, again, it sounds dumb, but it either goes up or down. But we are at that point in time where this week I think we can actually do a reasonable breakout or continue the downtrend, right? But one way or the other, however this blue is going to break, that will be a good one to get into stocks revolved around gas. Also, if you get down to the yellow here, again, you can start to pick something up there for sure, because this yellow channel is very beautiful looking back 3 years. TLT, again, a lot of price action has happened. Huge gap here, breaking out from the wedge, and now we're coming down for some sort of back test. Could we close the gap? Absolutely. But now we're trying to break out, and now we're doing some sort of back test here. Let's see what happens. If this is a false breakout, you will most likely not get that, high or low, at least now in the 10-year rates. But if we do get the breakout here and start to consolidate, maybe bull flag, and then we break out, then you get that potential last low, in quotes, interest rate move. And this one here, again, you could argue that is a head and shoulder, right? So you could argue that last little lower, a higher low maybe, again, could be the end somewhere around here. But from that point on, it is just down. It is just gonna be down from there, right? That is all, guys. Look at the metals. Again, let's see what gold, especially silver, can do. I'm very excited to see that. Especially the back test here on the momentum. If we confirm, which we could easily do Monday here, actually. Interesting times ahead for sure on silver. And remember, we've been bullish ever since we crossed that one there, 26. We have been immensely bullish on silver, immensely bullish on gold, of course. Platinum, just recently, like a few months ago, we went really bullish on platinum. And the mining sector also, we said this one here is the moment for the mining sector to waking up. And actually, if you look at the GDX, ever since then, I want to show you before you go. The GDX, this was down here. That was the moment. You can see here in March 2024. This was roughly the same period where gold broke out, silver broke out. And you can see ever since we are up many, over 100%, 130%. Interesting right now, actually. This note here, I will dive into that in another video. But have a great day. And yeah, have a great day. Cheers, guys. Bye.